Okay, hello everyone. It is me, Aunt Lainey, in Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. I was running a little late today. It was like a hot mess. Like I had a lot of stuff going on. But I'm here. I am here. So today I'm going to do instant ramen noodles. Now I haven't done this in a long time, but I'm going to put an Aunt Lainey spin on it, okay? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I did not have ramen noodles until I was in college. And even then, I was like, oh, what's that? And someone's like, it's ramen noodles. And I was like, oh, okay. And they were the instant kind. And my palate was not trained for them. I will say it's the best way I can say that. They just were not my cup of tea. And I think it had to do with like the seasoning packet. I think that's kind of what had kind of thrown me over the edge where I was like, oh no, I liked the texture of the noodles, but I didn't like the taste of that seasoning. So I spent a long time trying to figure out what's a good way to kind of combat that, for myself. So what I'm going to do and what I've done in the past, and I haven't done ramen noodles in a long time, but what I figured out that worked for me is that I did like an unsalted chicken broth whenever possible. Sometimes I didn't have the money for the unsalted chicken broth, but now I do. So I'm going to put a cup in here. So I'm going to cook this up, right? Because all I have to do with this is like throw in like some hot water, but I'm actually going to cook them in here. So this is going to be, I'm doing like 1 cup here. And probably what I'm going to end up doing is doing more than 1 cup. So probably maybe like 3 cups. But what we're going to do first, before I do any of that, is I'm going to, hang on, it's going to be more than 3 cups here. Okay. Okay, there we go. Maybe one more. Maybe one more. Let's do that. So I really like to do soups, and I actually like to do soups in the morning sometimes. Not all the time, but in the morning, because sometimes I get burnt out on doing the sausages and the waffles and the frittatas. I'm like, okay, I need something else. I need something else to kind of, keep me occupied. So we're going to move that out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and put this back in the refrigerator. And I've got this on a pretty, it's like on a pretty mid, it's like on a mid temperature. So I've got a teaspoon. So what I want to do with this teaspoon is I am actually going to put like a teaspoon, and usually I do have these measured out, but I was struggling, y'all. So let's just get like a teaspoon. This is not letting me do that. Hang on. I'm just going to go ahead and take matters into my own hands, literally. I'm going to go ahead and kind of scoop this out a little bit. Okay, here we go. So it's kind of close. Okay, put that, and that's going to be really strong. Just FYI, it's going to be really strong, but it is a teaspoon. So I put a teaspoon of this Chinese 5 spice in there. Next, what I'm going to do is I've got my lime juice, because guess what? I forgot to go to the store once again and get lemon juice, but you know what? Lime juice is going to work too. The citrusy, and if I didn't have this or I just had oranges, I do oranges because I kind of want that citrusy taste. And that was 3/4 of a teaspoon of the lime juice. Kind of like, hang on. Just stir this in here. Okay, and I kind of, like I said, it's on a mid temperature. Now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use a lot of ginger, but I do want it to have some of this ginger sensibility. I know you're like, girl, this is about to be strong. It is. It's going to be strong. So this is a 1/2 teaspoon, but I don't even think I need that much. I'm just going to do like, maybe it's more of like 1/4. Put that in there. So now I'm done with all my seasoning here. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to kind of let it, we're going to let it cook a little bit. And as we're letting it cook, we're also going to put in carrots. Now listen, everybody, and it smells, I wish you guys were here. It smells so good. It smells so savory in here. So I wish you guys were here to smell how savory it is. Now, carrots to me, I feel like this is something that you have to measure with your soul here, okay? Because not everybody is a fan of carrots like I am. So I'm just going to take, this is like a spoonful here. Put that in there. And then I also have some onions. Now I have garlic cloves, but I knew I was doing a lot of stuff with with other seasonings. So I thought, man, that garlic's going to be a little too heavy. So I'm doing like a spoonful of the onion. There we go. Because again, this is going to cook up and it is going to taste really, really good. I just didn't want to overload it with things. I kind of want to do more of an essence. So now I've got these carrots here and my onions, and I'll be using them for something else. You know, carrots and onions are actually really good too. If I would have done like some pot stickers, but I'm a little over the pot stickers, if I must say, because I've been, you know, experimenting with them, you know, doing them in my sandwich press. So I've had pot stickers for the past couple of weeks. So I'm like, you know what, let's take a little break from the pot stickers, although that would have been really, really good. You know, I like to dip my pot stickers, and I've also been known to kind of dip those pot stickers in miso soup, any kind of soup situation. So maybe not next time, because let's give pot stickers a little bit of a prayerful break. But maybe in like a month or so, a couple months, I will do that again. I'll do some kind of soup, not with ramen, because that would be a little too much for me. Yeah, so here we go. This is my instant ramen. So you fold the lid back, right? And here's the funny thing. I have I've really only done ramen in the individual packages. So when I saw that this had this, you know, here, I was like, wait, what's going on? So I think this will come out. And if it does, listen, if it doesn't come out, that's fine. I'll pour the hot water and then we'll kind of do this thing and we'll see, because this is already seasoned. So I'm probably going to have like a lot of things going on, but that's okay. It's going to give me comfort to have, you know, all of those things kind of going on. So let's see here. See if I can I get this out? See if I can kind of get this out. I don't know. We're actually gonna find out right now. Now I know most people would be like, you don't know whether or not you can get this out. How are you living on the edge like this? I'm like, I don't know, man. I just live on the edge. Okay. Okay, this little part fell out. Looks like it's kind of cemented in there, which is totally fine. We'll just get some water, a little water, off camera, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. And I didn't think that water was quite hot enough, but that's okay. Now, generally I would not do this. I would not recommend doing this, but because this is just me, I'm not serving this to anybody else. So go ahead and do this. Get this out of here. So look, this is how much you get. It's not a ton. It's not a ton, but for our purposes, it suits. There we go. We're just gonna put it in like that. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Whew. That was really, you know, that was very interesting. Now they have like, it looks like they got little peas, some corn in there as well. I'm not going to use those because I'm fine with what I have. I don't necessarily want corn in there. And then I'm going to, let's see here. Let me go ahead. Whew. I think I dropped some. I just stepped on one of those little petrified peas or something. Okay, so I think that you can kind of see what's going on here. So I have this, it's kind of like in its little cube thing here, which is totally fine. I'm gonna make it work. Actually, technically, I probably could go and put a little bit more of this unsalted chicken broth in here. Now, you might think to yourself, man, you did not plan this. I did. I planned it in my head. And it wasn't supposed to go this way, but now I know for the future kind of like what to do. And that's what cooking is about, you guys, honestly. Like sometimes, I mean, obviously you don't want to do that when you've got people who are hungry and they're waiting for food to come out at 5 o'clock. And if you really, you know, that's why you're not supposed to experiment, you know, on birthdays or big meals, unless you're technically having a food experimental party where it's like, yeah, bring your dish that's not quite perfect yet, or bring your experimental dish. Okay, that's different. But don't do that when, you know, things are at stake. People are trying to make memories and then, you know, they've got food poisoning or you've starved them to death. Whoops. That went out there. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead. I'm probably going to have to turn this up a little bit. get that heat going right there. And then in the meantime, I'm gonna move these things out of the way and get prepped for my cake. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Move this out of the way. Okay, that's just gonna go ahead and cook down. It'll be fine. Let me just... Whew. So if this is your first time tuning into me, I am Aunt Lainey. I post these first on my personal Facebook, and then I take them to my Aunt Lainey's Kitchen on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And that's kind of like what I do, and I'm known to kind of like experiment with some things. And let's see here. I kind of feel like I want to add a little bit more here, just to kind of, there we go. I would say I added probably about like a half a teaspoon of that. So, oof. Okay, next I am going to frost, and now I have to bring this down so you guys can actually see it. There we go. I'm going to frost this mini bundt cake. Now, this mini bundt cake, it's a lemon, so it's a lemon mini bundt cake. I love my mini bundt pan. That's one of the best purchases that I ever made, because this is so versatile. It's the kind of thing that you can bring to a party. Like, all of my friends cook, and that is a blessing and a curse, because, you know, I've been in friend groups where I was the only person that really cooked on a regular basis. So I'm like, yay, I can kind of bring things and whatever. But when you've got friends that actually cook as well, you're kind of like, well, dang it, I want to bring this whole big thing. But it's like, I already know these people are going to have like this full-on spread. So it kind of like, you know, I'm like, I got to go smaller with my portions. So this was kind of like the answer to that. And it's got enough here where you can have like, everyone can have like a little bite of it. It's more of like, it's a mini bundt cake, but it's kind of like a little bite cake. And so I am going to use cherry frosting. Now, I don't use cherry frosting a lot. Usually I like to just do like a buttercream or something like that. But again, it's Valentine's Day week. Got to put that in there for authenticity. And so I thought, you know what? Why not do like a simple kind of cherry spread here? Now, let me go ahead, because I don't want to get this underneath my fingernails. So okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put these lunch lady gloves on as we kind of wait for the ramen to do its thing. Okay, so you've got lots of choices when it comes to these mini bundt cakes. What I've done in the past, I've put applesauce in here. I've put pudding, you know, in the bundt cake part. You know, I have done applesauce with whipped cream. Actually also works really well. Like, you know, because I always have applesauce and pudding on hand. Well, now pudding sometimes, because I like to actually eat that. Sometimes that doesn't last too long in my house. But applesauce, you know, I can have applesauce here for a couple months. It's not a big deal. Now, so the way I like to frost things, it's very old school. And I always wondered why people did it this way. I'm just putting the frosting on the top. Now, when I was growing up, I had, you know, friends who had grandmas, and I could always tell the grandma that really took the Depression seriously because she only frosted on the top. She gave you a hint of the frosting, and then everything else was cake. And I thought about that, and as a kid, I was like, I don't want to, her stuff's good, but where's the frosting? Like, I was like that, but as I've gotten older, I don't have the same kind of sweet tooth, so I don't really I like having just a hint of frosting, you know, that is like more than enough for me. Now, I chose the lemon because I had like a Valentine's Day thing last week. Well, I had two, and one of them I brought some lemon bites and some lemon cupcakes. Super good. Then I was able to give some to a friend as a belated birthday thing, because I mean, a lot of people like lemon, so it's not something where it's like, because carrot cake, sometimes people like carrot cake, sometimes people have flashbacks about carrot cake, I don't know. So yeah, hang on. But I didn't frost those things. I just left them plain. Now, when I'm giving out gifts, unless I know the person is a big frosting person, or maybe it's a kid, I don't usually frost. or you just get like a little hint of frosting, but you don't get the whole thing. So see, as I'm kind of just making this be from the top, because when you slice into this, you're gonna have like a lot of, you know, every slice is gonna have frosting. So that's why I'm kind of limiting it to the top here. So I kind of want to maybe do a little bit more on here, just because I'm really, it's like I've got so much. I want to make sure that this top is adequate, since there's like, you know, like a depression in the cake, because all the frosting is just going to kind of like, you know, gravity's going to do its thing, and the frosting is going to kind of go down. Now, something else you can do when it comes to these kind of, just, you know, you're just frosting the top, throw some sprinkles on them. I'm about to throw the remaining of the Valentine's Day sprinkles that I bought like maybe like a month or so ago. I was like, oh, Valentine's Day sprinkles. I'm gonna do some cakes or something to celebrate that. Now, I got mine at Walmart, but you can get, because they're like the fancier kind. But listen, if you're super on a budget, you can go to the Dollar Tree or Dollar General, something like that, and you can kind of get those. And you don't have to add a ton. It's just, remember, we're just giving it like a little bit of some festiveness. So let's see here. Just want to kind of like do this so you can kind of, okay, that's perfect. Because otherwise, I don't want to get too far in the weeds with this. Because when I cut into it, I don't want like a whole bunch of frosting to like fall down. Okay. And now I've got like the last little bit, or the last little bit. You know, so for this lemon cake, what I did is for some of them, with the little bites, I went ahead and actually baked these in there. So I put it in the batter, not for all of it, but I put it in the batter for part of the batter, and I baked them in. So then you kind of had like, it had like a nice little like streaks of pink. So yeah, so let's just go ahead and add the rest of this. At least this thing is flying out here. Whew, like these things. That's the only thing about these little sprinkles, because they fly everywhere. So there you go. Okay, I have got this. It's kind of like a nice little mini bundt cake. I also did a cupcake, and I frosted it, and I think I posted it on my social media. Okay, now we are going to see about our friend, the ramen right here. Okay, let's see here. Let me use one of these right here. Bring that over. Okay, now you can kind of see it. Okay, looks like we are rocking and rolling, because that thing finally fell. Okay, this is what we got. We got these ramen noodles right here. Okay, I mean, it smells so good. It smells so savory right now. Okay, let's see, what am I gonna do with this? Let's put this over here. Now, when it comes to ramen, I actually like to cook it in here, cook it into the actual soup. I'm not gonna drain this or anything like that. And so let's go ahead. I had dinner a little bit earlier, but I saved a little room for some ramen. So I'm gonna go ahead. Now I do have, hang on, is that gonna work? I do have ladles and stuff, but they are not, to me, they're not really meant for ramen. Okay, so let's see here. That seems like enough. Let's get a little bit more soup in here as well. Okay, I've got the soup coming in. Okay, and then also what I want to do is I have got these green onions. I like to top, anytime I'm dealing with a soup, like a ramen soup, miso, whatever, I like to top it with green onions, because it's going to give it that, and I like them to be fresh, like a fresh kind of green onion taste to them. I don't know, I just kind of like prefer that, because it does have that nice, now cooked green onions are good as well, but I just kind of like that fresh kind of green onion taste. Okay, move that over here. Let's go ahead and turn this off, because I know this is done. Let's see here. I'm trying to think, I think maybe a fork. Let's do a fork. Let's kind of stir this in. Ooh, that's hot. Kind of see what's going on here. Okay, kind of nervous here because I have not made ramen in a very long time. No, I did years ago, maybe 10 years ago. I think I was still living in Overland Park. Years ago, let's go ahead and take this off. Put this on the cooler burner. Years ago, I made like an actual ramen. Like I had the ramen noodles, like, you know, not from the packet. And yeah, it was actually pretty good. And I just kept everything really, really, really simple. And it actually turned out pretty good. I find less is more on a lot of things. Anytime I have to add a lot, it's because whatever I have is not like the best ingredients. Okay. This is actually really good. And what makes it good is that I put it in the unsalted chicken broth, and you can taste the 5 spice in there, but it's not overpowering. You can taste a little bit of that kick of ginger. Of course, the fresh green onions are doing their job. Also a little bit of that lime juice, it gives it more of a sour. Now, if I wanted to brighten it up, I would put, well, I would have gone to the store and bought lemon juice like I was supposed to, and I just totally spaced it out. But no, you know, again, I believe in shelf cooking. I believe in kind of doing what you're, you know, what you can with what you got. Very important. So I will take pictures of the like little cup of ramen that I made, and also with this ramen, this is actually really good as a side dish. Now, again, I know for some people, this is like the main food, but this actually works good. Like if you had, like I talked about, if you had pot stickers, if you had some kind of chicken, like you did, like you use some Asian seasonings for chicken, like a orange chicken, this would actually go pretty well with that, or even a General Tso's chicken. If you did something like that, because I had breaded chicken, and if I had been more ambitious, I probably would have done like a sweet and sour chicken or something like that with this ramen. And who's to say tomorrow that I won't do that, because I will have definitely some leftover that I can, you know, heat up and, you know, take some pictures, do some video, and see how it is. But this is actually really good. Again, I used the cup of ramen. I didn't do the traditional throw the hot water in and then kind of let it do whatever. I was like, we're not doing that. I did have to kind of claw it away and put that little like cube brick thing into the already like cooking unsalted chicken broth that had, like, you know, the Chinese 5 spice and the lime juice and the ginger in there. So that's kind of what I did to kind of, and carrots. I had carrots in there as well to kind of keep it going. It smells so good in here. I can't believe it. But that's just a little something that you can do. I know unsalted chicken broth doesn't always go on sale, but when it does go on sale, if you can, you know, stock up on it a little bit so you kind of have it, you know, ready to go. And but if you have to use salted, if that's, you know, what, you know, you can use, if that's all you got, that's all you got. But I prefer unsalted, especially because this ramen already came with its own kind of seasoning. So I'm trying not to compete too much. I just want to enhance the flavor and not like compete with it or anything like that. And again, on that note, thanks so much for joining me. I'm Aunt Lainey in my kitchen. If you want more information about me, you can go to AuntLainey'sKitchen.com. I have a podcast, Aunt Lainey's Kitchen. I also am on, as I stated before, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Take care, everyone, and I will talk to you soon. Happy Valentine's Day. Take care.